A couple more example problems. Number 5 asks you to construct a confidence interval with a certain amount. Let's see, I didn't mean to move that. 99% confidence interval. Where are we going to get that number? If you look at the bottom of Table C, which is in the very back of the book, the back cover of the book, at the very bottom row, you'll see all the different confidence levels listed. And 99% gives you this magic number right here. I'll underline it. This is our critical value for 99%. That is the Z star. Z star is the critical value where we're going to cut these tails. So, constructing a 99% confidence interval, what do you need? You need an X bar and you need an E. So the X bar we had to calculate, and I calculated it by adding up 1, 2, 3 different values. That was the one sampling there of 3 different values. We got an X bar of 8404. And then, how do we calculate E? The formula is always the same. It's the critical value times a standard deviation estimate. And in this case, it's standard deviation divided by square root of n. That gave us this little number here for margin of error. So you take the one with the check mark and the one with circle, put them together, and you get a confidence interval of 84.04% plus or minus 0.101. And then in interval notation, we write it like this. The true mean lies between 0.8303 and 0.8505, and we can say that with 95% confidence. Let's move on to number 7, which actually involved a lot of work. There are 16 numbers. I plugged them into Excel and then sketched out this histogram for you. And it was to check, the numbers are supposed to be normal, and the population, and maybe with further sampling, it would look more like this. And the mean actually is right here, right now. In any event, they asked us to check the shape, and this is what the shape is, a little right skewed. The mean and the median and the mean are pretty close together, so I wouldn't say that it's extremely skewed, even though we've got some values over here on the right. So a little right skewed is the answer. With these 16 values, I could calculate myself an X bar. So there's our sample mean with a sample size of 16. And that's the research. Okay, someone did that research, and I just conjured up that statistic there of 224.002. Magically, we have been given sigma, and in chapter 11 we'll talk about what happens when we have to manufacture our own standard deviation. And then comes the building of the confidence interval. I started to run out of paper here and also run out of whiteout, as you can see. But in the end, what is it? It's the sample statistic plus or minus the margin of error. What's the margin of error? It's that critical value times the standard deviation. The critical value for 95% confidence we've seen is 1.96 with those little tails of 2.5% each. And then here's the calculation for standard deviation. You multiply those together and you get a margin of error of 0.0294. Let's clear the screen there. And remember what a confidence interval is, right? This is the sample statistic plus or minus a margin of error. And when I take this number right here and I subtract it, I get 223.973. So that's at the lower end of the interval, and here's the upper end. And what would I say? I say there's a 95% chance that this interval, as described, captures the true mean of our manufacturing situation. Okay, so there's some sample problems. Now please take a look at the 2 that have been assigned to you, and if those seem confusing to you, come back and rewatch these videos, and hope these help. Talk to you soon.